everyone, my name is Bhumika Chauhan. Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to study Bharat Our Land, written by Subramanya Bharati. He is a great Tamil poet. He was a great Tamil poet and he was famous for patriotism in the pre-independence era. So yes, it's a great poem. It is about our land. It is about Bharat. It is about India and Subramanya Bharati, he is basically known as Mahakavi, right? He is a Mahakavi Bhartiyar. So you are going to enjoy this poem. It's a beautiful poem where we can see where we will feel eventually a feeling of pride and a feeling of patriotism. So the poet over here through this poem wants us to develop the feelings of pride, wants us to develop the feeling of patriotism for Bharat, and which is obviously that is India, right? So Subramanya Bharati, he was basically a freedom fighter, right? He was a freedom fighter and he was a great Tamil poet. He was a freedom fighter and he wanted his countrymen basically to recall the past glory of ancient India, right? Like India is so beautiful, and he basically wants all of us over here. He highlights the natural beauty, the splendor, the philosophical richness of India, right? So India, you all know, is a country of diversity, right? We have so many traditions, we have so many cultures, we have so many castes, we have so many religion, whatever. Right? So, but here in this poem, Subramanya Bharati is trying to ignite patriotism and unity, obviously, among Indians. Okay, so let's get started. In the first stanza, the mighty Himavant is ours, there is no equal anywhere on earth. The generous Ganga is ours, which other river can match her grace. So, the mighty Himavant is ours. There is no equal anywhere on earth, meaning over here is the poet states that the great Himalayas, Himavant, great Himalayas belongs to us, right? The great Himalayas belong to India. Right? No other mountain range on earth can match the majesty and power. Then he says there is no equal anywhere on earth, right? Then the generous Ganga is ours. The generous Ganga is ours, which other river can match her grace. Now he has put a question mark over here. So he's saying the holy, the life-giving river Ganga is India's pride. And the poet asks basically a rhetorical question here, emphasizing that no other river in the world can match the grace, can match the beauty, can match the purity of river Ganga. Then he says, the sacred Upanishads are ours. The sacred Upanishads are ours. What scriptures else to name with them? Again, a rhetorical question. Now, poet over here claims that no other religious text, Upanishads, religious texts, okay, no other religious texts or philosophies, right, with what scriptures else to name with them, religious texts or we can say philosophies in the world can be compared to them in terms of spiritual wisdom, right? In terms of spiritual wisdom, India is number one. Right? This sunny golden land is ours. She is peerless. Let's praise her. Means India is beautiful. India is a beautiful land filled with bright sunshine. Sunny golden land, bright sunshine, and obviously rich resources. Not only bright sunshine, but also rich resources. Right? Because our country is unique. without an equal. Like peerless, he's saying nobody can match. Without an equal. Nobody can match the beauty. Nobody can match anything. And we should honor her. We should respect her. Let's praise her. Personification. Gallant warriors have lived here. Many a sage has sanctified this land. The divinest music has been heard here, and here all auspicious things are found. Right? Now what he is saying? The poet now pays tribute to the brave soldiers. Gallant warrior, brave soldiers. Paying tribute to the brave soldiers who protected this soil. And obviously many a sage as in wise saints, who have made the country holy, sanctified, holy, right? Through their pure deeds and through their prayers. Then he says the divinest music has been heard here. And here all auspicious things are found. So India is a land of divine melodies and sacred chants. Right? All good, lucky and pure things exist in this blessed nation. All these things. There is no other nation with all these qualities, with all these beautiful things. Right? Here Brahma knowledge has taken root and the Buddha preached his Dhamma here. Dhamma. Brahma knowledge, profound spiritual wisdom. Brahma knowledge, understanding of the self and the universe, the highest form of wisdom is found in India. Specifically the realization of ultimate truth, we can say. That is Brahma knowledge, and that thing originated here in India. And then he says Lord Buddha, and the Buddha preached his Dhamma here. And Lord Buddha spread his message of peace and of non-violence and of righteousness from this very soil. Everything happened over here from this soil. Of hoary antiquity is Bharat. She is peerless. Let's praise her. Wow. She is peerless. So Bharat has an incredibly ancient and antiquity, like ancient and glorious. Hoary antiquity, ancient and glorious. Antiquity, ancient and glorious past. And because our motherland is unmatched, she is peerless. Peerless means she is unmatched. We all should praise her. We must sing her praises. Are you guys getting my point? So this is such a beautiful poem, such a beautiful poem. And the main message, what is the main message that this poem is trying to convey? The main message that the poet over here gives through this poem is that Bharat is matchless, number one. Okay, Bharat is, do I have space? Okay, Bharat is matchless and its majesty. Right, and its majesty, I'm saying, in its majesty, and it must be praised. Like we should praise our land, we should praise Bharat. Right? There were so many sages, there were so many warriors and talents who basically contributed to the rich cultural heritage of Bharat. Right? So the poem basically tells the readers to be proud. Just be proud of the natural, spiritual, write down these points, natural, spiritual, intellectual wealth of Bharat. Right? And after reading this poem, you can clearly develop a feeling of patriotism. We feel like, yes, Bharat is a beautiful country. So what is the main theme? Patriotism. Patriotism is the main theme. The poet basically ignites a feeling of deep love, deep respect for our beloved country by highlighting the country's natural majesty. Spiritual legacy. Write down natural majesty. Right? Spiritual legacy. Use these points whenever you write theme. Heroic deeds, rich culture. Write it down. Heroic deeds, rich culture. So poet is praising all these things in this poem. He has given a human-like quality to our land. He's saying mighty Himavant. He's saying generous Ganga. He's saying she's peerless. So he's clearly personifying each and everything. Right? He's personifying each and everything. So I wish and I hope that you all understood the meaning of the poem. I gave you the message. I gave you basically the theme of the poem. Right? So I wish and I hope that you all understood. If you want, I can repeat once more. Like we can go through the central message once more. Subramanya Bharati, a great freedom fighter and poet, wrote this patriotic poem to fill our heart with love and pride for India. He wanted to fill our heart with love and pride for our beloved land, Bharat. He shows how India's nature, like mountains, rivers, spiritual books, great people like warriors, sages, Buddha, and ancient culture make it the best country in the world. And the repeated lines, she is peerless, again and again he is repeating, she is peerless, let's praise her, is basically like a chant, right? Cheer for our motherland, that we should praise her, let's praise her. And again you can clearly see 2 times rhetorical question. That means he is trying to emphasize that there is no other country in the world that can match the beauty of Bharat, that can match the diversity of Bharat, that can match the cultural heritage, the spiritual heritage, the sages, the warriors, the resources of Bharat. Right? Yes. So it's a beautiful poem. If you want, I can repeat it again. The mighty Himavant is ours. Mighty Himavant. Again, we can see personification. Himavant is Himalayas. So he says that Himalayas belong to us. There is no other mountain range in the world as mighty as Himalaya. Right? Then there is no equal anywhere on the earth. Then again he is saying that it's matchless, unmatched. You cannot match the beauty, you cannot match the strength of Himalayas with any other mountain range. It's impossible. The generous Ganga, now he's saying Ganga generous. Generous, why? Why he's saying Ganga generous? Because Ganga is pure, it's beautiful, and we can clearly see that feelings of Indians are so much connected to river Ganga. Like they basically, they love Ganga and Ganga loves them. I can clearly say that. ठीक है? Got it, everyone? Yes. Very nice. The generous Ganga is ours. So Ganga river, which is known for her beauty, her purity, right, belongs to us. There is no other river in this world that can match the purity, that can match the serenity, that can match the beauty, that can match the depth, right? No other river. Which other river? He's asking, which other river can match her grace? She's graceful, she's beautiful, she's pure, she's divine, right? The sacred Upanishads are ours. Sacred Upanishads, scriptures, all these scriptures out there, they belongs to us. They belong to us. Sorry. What scriptures else to name with them? Like, can you match? What scriptures else to name with them? Can you match any other scripture in the world with the scriptures that we have in our country. The sunny golden land, again he is saying sunny golden land, that the sun shines brightly on this land. So we have so many resources. India is rich in resources. We have everything, and that's why they used to call us like golden bird, sone ki chadiya, right? So she's peerless, let's praise her. Again personification, they are calling Bharat, India, she. So she's peerless, like matchless, unmatched. Her beauty, her purity, her serenity, her divinity, everything. Bharat is something else. No other land in this whole world can match the beauty of Bharat. Even the people, right? Even their patriotism, even their we can say they were so fearless. They can do anything. They call Bharat their mother, right? We call Bharat our motherland, right? So she's peerless. Let's praise her again and again. He's saying that we should praise our motherland. We should praise our motherland because there is no other. There is no other country in this world that matches all these beautiful things, that can match all these things, right? Gallant warriors, again gallant as in fearless, strong warriors, right? Soldiers who fought with honor and courage have lived here. They belong to this land. Many a sage has sanctified this land, and there were so many wise saints that purified basically this land, right? That they were the ones who made this land divine, right? After that, the divinest music has been heard here, right? And all the auspicious things, and here Brahma knowledge, it is very important. They can ask question from here. Here Brahma knowledge has taken root. Here Brahma knowledge has taken root, and the Buddha preached his Dhamma here. Dhamma as in Dharma. So Buddha, Brahma knowledge is basically the deep understanding, as I told you, of self, right? And of universe. That is Brahma knowledge. So he is highlighting that the highest form of wisdom in India, Indian thought. So Brahma knowledge, and Buddha gave all the things, like he preached his dharma here, right? Yes. So he's celebrating basically India's philosophical and spiritual roots. Okay, so Gautam Buddha himself preached his dharma, teachings of, what is dharma? Teachings of truth, teachings of compassion and the right way to live, right? So he belongs to India, like he belongs from this beautiful country, right? Of hoary antiquities, Bharat, she is peerless, let's praise her. Right? So it's a beautiful poem. I hope you understood. I really want all of you now to go through. Let's discuss some literary devices. What are all the literary devices that we can clearly see here? First one is rhetorical question. What are rhetorical questions? Whenever we can see a question which is like not demanding an answer, right? Over here, the question like, which other river can match her grace, is not demanding an answer. This is a question where the poet wants to emphasize on the fact that the generous Ganga is our and she is matchless. So to emphasize on this thing that it is, you cannot compare Ganga river with some other river. She is at the top, right? So that is a rhetorical question. Over here again we can see what scriptures else to name with them. Again he is praising our scriptures and he is saying that they are the best by asking a question like, is there any other scripture? It's like, no, there is none. Okay, so these are rhetorical questions. After that, we can clearly see personification. So first one is rhetorical questions. Okay, in which other river can match her grace? Which other river can match her grace? There is no other river that can match her grace, right? Question mark. Okay, and the next one is, what scriptures else to name with them? What scriptures? Okay, next one is personification. Next literary device is, what is personification? Whenever we give human qualities to animals or non-living things, that is personification. So we are calling Ganga generous, mighty Himavant, right? And we are saying she is peerless. So they are clearly the examples of personification. Generous Ganga, mighty Himavant, she is peerless. Clearly examples of personification, right? Yes or no? Are you guys getting my point? I hope you all understood the poem very well, right? So, very good, amazing. Now, next one is imagery literary device, right? What is imagery literary device? What is imagery literary device? When we can create a picture after reading the text, like the mighty Himavant, then the sunny golden land, a clear example. So it creates a picture in our mind. That is imagery literary device. That evokes our senses. That is basically imagery literary device. So the sunny golden land, the sunny golden land is imagery literary device, right? Then we can clearly see has been heard here. Repetition of her sound, her sound. So that is alliteration. What is alliteration literary device? Alliteration literary device is basically repetition of consonant sound. Listen to me really very carefully. I am saying repetition of consonant sound. That is repetition of consonant sound. That is alliteration. And the words should be closely placed. It should not be like one word is here and the another one is here and the next one is here and the next one is here. No. It should be in the same line, like the words should be closely placed and repetition of the same consonant sound, not vowel sound, consonant sound. Right? After that, we can clearly see hyperbole. What is hyperbole? Exaggerating a statement, basically to make it comical. For example, I called you 1,000 times. So you didn't call actually 1,000 times. Basically, you are exaggerating. You are trying to prove a point that you called so many times. So exaggerating a statement to make it basically comical, right? We can say. So there is no equal anywhere. He's saying, na? There is no equal anywhere. So this is hyperbole. Okay, this is hyperbole. Literary device. Which other river over here can match her grace? Hyperbole. Again, what scriptures else to name within them? Again, hyperbole. Right? The divinest music has been heard here. Hyperbole. Right? Exaggerating. She is peerless. Hyperbole. Again, exaggerating. Right? So poet is basically exaggerating all these beautiful things that belongs to India, right? To basically ignite the feeling of patriotism, that we should respect our country, that we should love our country, because so many people gave their life, because so many people done so many things for this beautiful land, did so many things for this beautiful land, right? So what is a rhetorical question? A question that does not expect an answer. Please do remember this, it's important in this poem. They can clearly ask you question from this, literary device. Okay. So I wish and I hope that you all understood the poem. I gave you all the meaning. Okay. Deep patriotism and pride. Theme of the poem is basically deep patriotism and pride. That is cultural and spiritual heritage. Please do remember all these words like cultural and spiritual heritage, historical and heroic legacy, deep patriotic and pride. Right? Patriotism and pride. So the main theme of the poem is patriotism. The poet ignites a feeling of deep love and respect for the beloved country by highlighting the country's natural majesty, spiritual legacy, history filled with heroic deed. And do underline these words. Whenever you write an answer in your exam, do underline important words that you want your teacher to notice. Right? So these are the words that can eventually help you to score better, right? Yes. Okay, then that's it from my side, guys. I wish and I hope that you loved today's session, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Bye bye everyone, take care, all the best.